Sad news that the cholera death toll in South Africa has increased. It is now sitting at 26. This after one more person has died of the bacteria in Hammanskraal. Authorities still don't know exactly what the source of this deadly outbreak is. Families in the area are, of course, furious. They're grieving and they're traumatised, having to watch their loved ones first fall ill, suffer, and then ultimately die. On the story for us, as he has been from the beginning, is eNCA's Manqoba Mchunu joining us to talk about this. And you were just on the phone, weren't you, to confirm the very latest. What are you being told?
Well, Gareth, confirmation that's coming from the Health Department, the National Health Department, that is that indeed there's been one more death. And so this brings the death toll now to 25 people that have demised from the cholera outbreak. Of course, we know that a majority of those people are from Hammanskraal. Sadly, this latest incident is also somebody from Hammanskraal. We understand that, as far as the details are concerned, they're still quite sketchy. The department saying that they're still going to, get verification from the provincial officials as well as regional authorities as far as this person is concerned. They're not sure of the age at this particular stage, or some of the details surrounding the death of this particular patient. But what we do know is that it is somebody from Hammanskraal, and that they are worried that the number of cases are seemingly starting to spike up again. So it seems. We knew that the last time they said it was around 25 people, but they're quite concerned. So we're going to get latest as soon as they release that information. They're still working on the statement that they're going to be issuing to the media, just confirming some of those details. But of course, Gareth, as you can understand, the situation is quite dire in that community. And I can tell you that many of the people, as we speak, there's a sense of fear that's gripping that community. People are not sure whether they are next. People are uncertain, whether they should, what they should do as far as things are concerned. Because even though they've been told that they can't drink water, the issue now is that some of them say that it potentially is water from the water trucks that could have made those people that were sick to fall sick. In fact, many of the people that we spoke to are saying that the people that had gotten sick had drunk water from those water tankers. So you can understand the anxiety and the fear that's gripping that community, who are uncertain. Moreover, given the fact that even now we still don't know what the exact cause of that outbreak is. So nobody seems to have a sense of, any information on the ground as to what really is happening. Where exactly is this disease coming from?
Yeah, and the problem is we've been told, and the residents have been told, I was in Hammanskraal on Monday this last week, we were broadcasting from there, and the residents are saying, but they're running out of options. They can't afford to buy bottled water. I think many people take buying bottled water for granted, but many people don't have that kind of money to be spending it on water, so they're taking a risk and trying to drink the water and simply hoping for the best, and still no answers from authorities.
The worst part is that, when I spoke to some of the people there, they were telling me that, even when you boil this water, because of the color and the odor of this water, the smell that permeates from this water, even when you boil it, that doesn't go away. The color doesn't go away, and when you boil it, there's foam that comes on top of that water when you boil it. So, they're still skeptical, and, there's still questions as to whether the water itself is safe. Even if they boil it, they still feel as if the water is still not safe enough for them to drink. So quite a lot of confusion, Gareth. And of course, many people are telling you that they simply cannot afford bottled water, and they've had no choice. Some of them are saying that, this is how we're living now. We've had to boil this water. As bad as it looks, we have to drink it because we have no choice. There's no other alternative. But of course, we know that there are water tankers that are also assisting, and they have been a source of relief. But some of them saying that they even have to boil that water from the water tanker now because they simply don't trust it as well. But Gareth, we spoke to some of the families, of course, that were affected in all of this. And, there are more questions as well than answers from these families. And one of the families that I spoke to was the Matonzi family and the Mashiane family. So it's two families, but we'll start with the Mashiane family. This is a family, Gareth, that lost one of its family members. It was an 82-year-old man that was, one of the people that were affected. He was one of the first group of people that were admitted to hospital. So there's still a lot of confusion from the family as to how he contracted this virus. I mean, they've been drinking this water for a number of years, and the family is saying that they're quite pained because he had, shown symptoms of, diarrhea. After that, he had started vomiting. They sent him to hospital the first time, and he was discharged from hospital, went back home, and it got worse. And when they took him the second time, he had died. So there's a lot of, pain from that family and a lot of confusion as far as that is concerned on how this all happened. I want you to take a listen to this family. I'll translate the part just after she talks.
Ke monica freita ha o tsereng ke ambulance ke sopola nedika ha ke founela ambulance ba mpiditse ha ke fitla ka mokra a sa bolele a tonya matso a emela ko tlase ba mtse ka ambulance ba mo rwala ka stretcher ba ya le a tsamaya ngwana ko ha ba babedi he ke ba founela ba re ba emetse di result ba itse ba tsamaya ka mo casualty. So ka fo ya matsa papa ka ke a khawa ba founela ngwana ko ha ore papa ka o robetse.
So this is Maria Mashiane, who is the daughter of this 82-year-old man, Stanley Mashiane. She's explaining here, Gareth, that the last time she had seen him was on a Friday, when an ambulance was called for him. At the time, he was quite weak. His hands had been cold at the time, and, he was weak. And he went to hospital, and they had hoped that he's going to come back from hospital, but only to be told the following morning that he had unfortunately died from this disease. And so when I spoke to the family, Gareth, they told me that, they're still confused because he had been drinking bottled water at the time. They tried to get him bottled water for him to drink, and he had to take tablets every day. So they were left confused, really, whether he contracted this cholera when he was in hospital, or perhaps what was really behind him getting sick. But it was confirmed that in fact he was killed by cholera.
So when we now move away from the residents who feel helpless, they feel abandoned, what are the authorities saying? Because we're being told there's an enormous amount of money. I've heard 2.5 billion, I've heard 4 billion, I've also heard 6 billion rand to try and get this entire water treatment system, not just Rooiwal and not just Themba, the entire system up and working properly. What are authorities doing? What are their timelines? Because people have had enough.
Well, Gareth, from the briefing that was held, I think it was sometime during the week, by the Minister of Water and Sanitation, Witswane, of course, promises were made as far as that is concerned. You recall that they have now joined hands in terms of trying to deal with this issue. There will be both funding, the repair work that is going to go into the two plants, the treatment plants that are at the center of this, the Rooiwal as well as the Themba water treatment plant. So the commitment that was given by the minister is that, it's only up until next year, March, that residents are likely to receive clean, drinkable water from their taps. So that will require about 4 billion rand for the entire project to be completed. Of course, next year will be just phase 1 of it that they're going to complete. So it does seem like it's still going to be quite a stretch before they're able to fix these issues. We know that the Development Bank of Southern Africa is going to be involved as far as that work is also concerned. But Gareth just tells you that, it's still a long time coming. And so you can just imagine what will be going through, the minds of residents there in Hammanskraal who are still, facing a cloud of uncertainty. Of course, they're also hoping that those water tankers are going to continue providing water for them.
Can we talk a little bit about the Matonzi family? I know we heard from the other lady a little bit earlier. You translated for us. Tell me about the Matonzi family as well.
The Matonzi family is, one of those families that suffered a double blow. So they did not only lose one person, they lost 2 of their family members. And what happened, Gareth, is that on the week of the 14th of May, some of the family members complained of diarrhea. So they had a runny tummy and they had, symptoms of cholera. But at the time, they didn't know it was cholera. They had cramps, stomach cramps, and then they got weak. So this was 4 family members. And they had to rush all 4 family members to hospital, not on the same day, but, in days. Just, I think it was a day apart. All of them had to be admitted in hospital. This was the mother, who was about 62 years old, and the father of the family was about 64 years old, and then the grandson, and he was about 17 years, and the daughter was about 41 years old. And in that, Gareth, just within a matter of hours, we understand that the father lost his life, as well as his daughter, the 41-year-old Sylvia, that also died. Luckily for the son, the grandson, and the grandmother, they survived. But the family is still not out of the woods. The grandmother, even now, is still weak. She's still, her stomach, she still has cramps. And they are quite concerned that, she too, might be in danger, that there's a possibility that if she doesn't get any help, she could die. They say that she was discharged from hospital without any medication. So they're quite worried about that as well. You can take a listen, just get it to the family, just expressing their pain and loss.
Mama lena a se shapo ya nna phela ntsa lla ka dipeile a re shapo rena re tswile re tlo ka re lena maybe a ka re shia.
Manqoba, so as I know that you're going to stay on the story as well, when I was in Hammanskraal Monday, you were talking about the smell of the water. One of the neighbours, we were broadcasting across the road, brought me a bottle of water from inside the house, and I had a bottle of mineral water. The water looked fine that she gave me, but the moment I opened it, it's that algae and that chlorine smell. It wasn't particularly discoloured, but the moment you open that bottle of water from the taps, I can just imagine what it's like to have to try and survive with that. But you stay on the story for us. Any updates, of course, Manqoba Mchunu going to have that for us here on eNCA as well.